So what really led to the downward spiral of what was once known as the island paradise? The country is marred by its worst economic crisis since 1948. Experts blame the Rajapaksa government for mismanaging the government finances and ill-timing tax cuts. The current crisis was accelerated by deep tax cuts promised by Rajapaksa during a 2019 election campaign. Now, these tax cuts were enacted months before the COVID-19 pandemic, which literally wiped out parts of Sri Lanka's tourism-dependent economy. The war in Ukraine hurt supply chains, putting more pressure on an already pressurized economy. Huge piles of foreign debt, series of lockdowns, soaring inflation, shortage in fuel supply, fall in foreign currency reserves and devaluation of currency has adversely impacted the country's economy. The Rajapaksa government is now unable to pay for essential imports, including fuel, leading to debilitating power cuts. Ordinary Sri Lankans are also dealing with shortages and soaring inflation of medicine, of food, of fuel, and of pretty much literally every daily necessity. The country's foreign debt rose from a meager $0.4 billion in 1970 to a whopping $56.3 billion in 2020. The trouble was that the country's external debt rose quicker than its GDP. The external debt to GDP ratio rose from 31.6% in 2010 to 32.4% in 2015 and further to 40.4% in 2020. The foreign reserves in Sri Lanka in 2018 were near $10 billion and this nosedived to under $2 billion in 2021. On the other side, the Sri Lankan rupee has depreciated more than 50% against the US dollar in this 1 year alone. The Sri Lankan rupee has now depreciated against the Indian rupee by 32%, against the euro by 31%, the pound sterling by 31%, the Japanese yen by 29%, all between January 1st and March 31st. This comes as statistics according to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. So what next now for Sri Lanka? It seems like the country is seeking financial support from the IMF and turning to regional powers that may be able to help. Sri Lanka has requested help from China as well as with India. New Delhi has already issued a credit line of $1 billion in March. Uncertainty still prevails on what comes next.